had another opportunity that was unbelievable. I was asked by the Oklahoma board to be the coach of the Oklahoma youth team. Back then, they had established the Youth World's Championship show, and Oklahoma had never, the team championship back then was the big deal because there wasn't a national qualifying situation. Every state was allowed to send 2 members per class at their choice. And then the horses that were in the top 10 of the nation were invited. So actually being on that team was a big deal, and it was left up to each state. Well, here in Oklahoma, we had a trial system. We had 3 trials, and each trial had 3 OQHYA judges that volunteered their time to come and evaluate. And then for the timed events and the roping events, we had just a 1-day trial, separate of the other classes. And so it was a big deal to be on that youth team, and it was a big deal for the state to win. And
so is this the qualifying system for the whole youth world?
For the whole youth world at that time. It's
Okay.
changed now. You know, there's a point system, you get so many points, but there wasn't then. You had to be in the top 10 of the nation to get a automatic invitation, or you were on the team. Well, that made the team championship the biggest deal of the whole world show. And Oklahoma had never won it. And so I was invited to the board meeting, and one of our board members stood up and said, Oklahoma will never beat Texas in the team championship. And I was still in my 20s. And at that stage in my life, you never said never.
No
to
way.
me. So,
and really, honestly, we still don't tell Dr. Story never.
it was a real experience, and I enjoyed every minute of it. But I traveled the state for the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Association, and I went to the 100 jumper shows, and I found the top riders that were on American quarter horses. I went to the rodeos, and I found the top ropers and timed events exhibitors that were on registered quarter horses, and I got them to come to our trial. And so we had some very, very top barrel racers, pole benders, stakes racers, and ropers. And then I went to the different ranches. For example, Farrell Eaton had Handy Mac and a son of Boston Mac, Mr. Baron, let's see, Baron Bell Jack, I think was his name. Anyway, I went through his herd, and he had a weanling dun colt that I really liked. And I said, Farrell, if you will gild him and go out for the team trials, I think he will be the world's champion yearling gelding the next year. And he ended up to be the world's champion yearling gelding. And his daughter Judy showed him. And then Kylene Emerson had a 2-year-old gelding that had just won the world with Jerry Wells in Open the year before. She had a son that wouldn't even touch a horse. And she said, and I said, we need to get your son to show this horse. And she said, oh no, you will never talk my son into showing a horse.
There's that word never again.
Yeah, there's the never. I said, you give me an hour. And we talked about Star Wars, and we talked about this and that. And at the end of the hour, he was going to show the horse. And he did, and he won the world's championship. So, and then I did have the advantage of having Nancy Wells and Marty Wells and some really top kids on my team too.
Oh, what a story.
Yeah. So we won the world's championship that year in the team. So I went back to the board And the same board member said, "Oh, that was just a fluke." And I was getting ready to go to vet school that next fall. I'd already been accepted. And I said, "Okay, we'll just have to do it again." And so I was really pressed because I was preparing for vet school and everything, but I decided I was going to do it. And we again won the world, but also that year I had a big group together. All the team came together down at the Van Dorns. They were very prominent in the industry at that time. And so they helped start Sonic Industries, and they had a beautiful place right in the middle of Edmond, which I'm sure is developed at this time, but it was a beautiful ranch, and they had a huge home. And so anyway, we had all the team members come together, and they got to know one another, and we had so much fun. And we had them bring their attire, and we matched it with their horses. And Jerry Wells came down. He said, "This horse needs 30 more pounds, or you need to take off 50 pounds or whatever," and looked at each horse that was in June, before the show in August. And we looked at everyone's attire, and if it matched the horse, fine. If it didn't, we had donors that would help us attire kids. And
Oh my God.
Carla Winberg. So Carla, the year before, had won the showmanship, the horsemanship, and the English Eck, all at the World Show. I mean, she was the most unbelievable youth I think I'd ever seen. So we flew her in to work with our team while we were down there. And she worked with a young gentleman named Thad Cox. And he had been in the showmanship the year before, but it hadn't won anything. And she worked with Thad, and Thad won the showmanship that year. And Nancy Wells, who was down there at the same time, Nancy Wells was fourth. So we were first and fourth in the showmanship. And I attribute all that to Carla and her expertise. And she worked with our horsemanship and our English Eck, and she watched all the pleasure horses and everything. And what a phenomenal job she did helping us out and everything. And we won it again. And I went like that, went to vet school.